Hello, College of the Desert students. Wendy Ansley here, kinesiology professor. Today we have a well-rounded flow. The props we will utilize are going to be the wall, our blocks, and a yoga strap. Our theme today is leave no stone left unturned. I've been working on this flow for a few weeks and I'm excited to share it with you. It is with humble confidence that I share that when I often remind myself that when I step on the four corners of my yoga mat, it is an opportunity to move my body in a unique way, built upon body intelligence, flexibility, mobility, strength, stability, balance, core, and these mindful transitions in and out of the yoga postures, representing leave no stone left unturned. And this is an opportunity for us all to remember that yoga is a work in, an opportunity to feel the body, calm the mind, and connect with spirit. Again, it's with humble confidence that I share with you how much I believe in the teachings of yoga and the gratitude I have for my past teachers and the gifts of yoga. So with that, we'll start at the top edge of our mat in Tadasana. Whether that is feet hip width apart, maybe feet together, maybe a little space between those heels. Let's connect with Pada Bandha as we awaken the arches and ground those toes, connecting, drawing that energy from the ground. Here we are in Tadasana. Let's do several cleansing breaths. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. As we do our partial sun salutations, some of you may decide you'd like to kind of warm up with some blocks and bring the ground closer to you. Awaken those arches, spread those toes. Here we stand in Tadasana, standing tall, standing strong, drawing that navel in, rolling those shoulders back. On that inhale, we're going to draw that energy up, upward salute. Draw length in the sides of the body. On that exhale, we're going to swan dive down and do a little dynamic forward fold as we heel and toe, heel and toe. Come into that halfway lift, either hands on the blocks, the shins, the thighs, or under the shoulders. Feel that tailbone lifted, that crown of the head come forward. With the exhale, we're going to fold a little bit deeper into a forward fold. Allow that release in the entire backside body and allow that neck to be long. We're going to gently bend those knees, swan dive up. And draw that energy back to the heart. Tadasana. Inhale, draw that energy up, that upward salute. Draw length in the sides of the body. Gaze up, tapping into the spiritual centers of the brain. On the exhale, we're going to swan dive down. A little heel and toe, heel and toe. Come into this halfway lift, drawing that navel in, either hands to the shins, the thighs, the blocks, or under the shoulders. Feel that crown of the head coming forward as we draw length in the spine. Exhale, we're going to fold a bit deeper into our forward fold. Come a little more to the midfoot. Gently bend those knees, swan dive up, upward salute. Draw that energy back to the heart. Tadasana. Let's take our yoga strap and modify if you don't have one. You can always use a sweatshirt. You can use a towel. We're going to go a little wider than shoulder width apart as we warm up those shoulders. So we're going to take that strap back and forth. Good. A little shoulder mobility. Let's hold that strap right behind you. I want you to feel the shoulder blades towards the spine as we open that chest. We'll stay here several breaths, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. That audible ocean breath. This, we're going to draw the strap towards us, round the spine a little bit as we kiss those elbows and draw the chin to the chest. On that inhale, straighten those arms, shoulder blades towards the spine. Continue this dynamic movement where you round, kiss those elbows. Inhale, straighten those arms. On that exhale, round, kiss those elbows. Inhale, straighten those arms. One more. Inhale, straighten those arms. Good. Draw that strap up. Let's open that side body here. As I mirror you here, you're going to lower your right arm. Let's draw that left arm up as we open that left side body. Either gaze off to the side. If the neck doesn't bother you, maybe gaze towards that top arm. Breathe deep. Inhale and rise. Gently lower now that left arm as we open that right side body, releasing the lateral stabilizers here of the spine. Either gaze off to the side or gaze up. Breathe deep. Inhale and rise. Let's take the strap behind us one more time just so you can feel that chest opening, that chest expansion. Let's connect with breath, that audible breath. As we inhale and exhale through the nose. And draw that strap in front, a little shoulder mobility. As we move here, the strap to the left and the right, so we kind of angle it. We call these figure eights. Leaving no stone left unturned. Good. And we'll draw that strap back over the head. As we come to the edges of our mat here, let's do a little wrist therapy. So we've got the arms extended in front here, and we're going to kind of lead with the thumbs here as we circle outward. We're going to prepare our wrists for our practice today. Strong wrists, strong hands, strong fingers. Come back here, and now we're going to kind of lead with the pinkies as we draw the circles more inward. And hands straight out like you're telling someone to stop here. And then we'll make a fist here and come back. Good. So it's like a fist and a pull. Good. And we'll have the hands out in front. Let's do finger flicks. Finger dexterity. Good. Let's take the feet about hip width apart. Toes pointed straight ahead. Let's clasp those hands behind. If you need to use a strap to bridge the gap, please do. Draw the shoulder blades towards the spine. Again, we want to feel that chest open, a little shoulder therapy. Broaden those collarbones. Inhale, create length. On the exhale, we're going to fold forward. If we need to gently bend those knees a little bit to help us as we're warming up, please do. Continue to draw those arms over the head. Allow that neck to be long. Releasing those hamstrings, opening the chest and the shoulders. Rooting with both feet. Draw the navel in, the back is flat. Root and rise. Beautiful. For some of us, we might bring the ground a little bit closer towards us. Let's take the block, either whatever setting you'd like to do. right in the middle as we add a little twist. It's always good to warm up across the planes of motion. Inhale, draw that energy up, upward salute. If the shoulders are tight, we can keep them here, or we can draw those palms together. Draw length in the sides of the body. On the exhale, we're gonna fold forward. We're gonna bend that left leg, the left hand directly under the face, the right leg stays straight. We'll take that right arm and kind of brush the chest as we draw that right arm up, if the gaze either off to the side, or if the neck doesn't bother you, towards the ceiling, towards those fingertips. And we find that Ujjayi pranayama, that breath, as we inhale and exhale through the nose. With the exhale, we'll deepen the twist. Feeling that release in the upper and middle back. On the exhale, we're going to gently lower. We'll switch. We'll bend that right leg. Left leg stays straight. Right hand on the block or the ground. Draw that left arm up. And if we can, the gaze may follow us. Breathing into this mid-thoracic twist. Gently release. Coming into this, one more forward fold. Maybe we'll clasp those elbows and allow that neck to be long. Feel that release in the entire backside body. On the exhale, we sink a little bit lower. We fold a little deeper. Gently bending those knees, we're going to swan dive up, upward salute. Exhale, draw that prana back to the heart. Find your way back to Tadasana. And as we continue to move in a unique way, connecting body, mind, and spirit, let's fold our hands heart-centered and just connect to that Ujjayi pranayama. As we inhale and exhale through the nose, maybe a light constriction of the back of the throat before that exhale, so we have an audible ocean breath. Maybe close those eyes. On the inhale, feel the prana rise, the chest expand. On the exhale, the prana coming back down the spine. And as we set our intention, we're going to bow our head as we draw the fingertips to the third eye. Maybe take a moment to dedicate yourself to showing up, the gifts of yoga, the healing journey of yoga. Hands back, heart center. Tadasana. Open those palms, receiving this energy. Cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Let's come into some sun salutations here. On the inhale, we're going to draw that energy up. Lift the lower ribs away from the pelvis. If the shoulders are tight, we can keep the hands here. We can draw those palms together. On the exhale, we're going to gently bend those knees and swan dive down. Maybe a little dynamic heel and toe as we are awakening. We might keep those knees a little bent as we're awakening those hamstrings. With the inhale, halfway lift, either hands to the block, the shins, or the thighs. With the exhale, we're going to frame the feet and we'll step that right leg back into Phalakasana plank. Maybe we rock forward and back several times until we come into the static hold as we press into those palms. Root a little bit more in the index fingers of the hands. Eye of the elbows come forward. We want to dome that upper back. We want to draw that navel in, and we want to ignite those quads by pressing those heels back as we have those heels stacked over the toes. The gaze is down. The head is in line with the spine. We'll stay here several breaths. core strength, core agility. We're going to gently lower to the knees as we come into wide-legged child's pose. Big toes touching, widen those knees. And let's walk those arms forward as we create length and traction in the spine. This is a pose we can always turn to if we need to modify and need a break. Beautiful. On the transition, we'll come to all fours. Let's tuck the toes. Let's have the hands about a palm width in front of the shoulders. Tuck those toes, send those hips back. Come into our first Adho Mukha, downward facing dog. Hands are shoulder width apart, feet are hip width apart. Maybe we do a little heel and toe until we come to a static hold in Adho Mukha. Downward facing dog. Pushing that floor away. With the exhale, we're going to continue to firm those thighs. Heels come a little closer to the ground and connect with that ujjayi, that ocean breath, as we inhale and exhale through the nose. As we releve up, gaze between those hands, maybe lead with the foot that we don't want to lead with as we walk the feet towards those hands. And we come into the halfway lift, either hands to the blocks, the shins, or the thighs. And the exhale, we're going to fold a little bit deeper, allowing that neck to be long. Breathe deep. Continue to stack the hips over the knees and the ankles. Gently bend those knees, swan dive up, upward salute. And draw that prana back to the heart. Tadasana, cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Let's continue to leave no stone left unturned. Inhale, draw that energy up, upward salute. Draw length in the sides of the body. On that exhale, we're going to swan dive down. A little bit deeper. Come a little bit more to the midfoot. Feel that release in the entire backside body. In that inhale, come into that halfway lift. Feel that crown of the head coming forward, that tailbone lifted as we create length. With the exhale, we're going to frame the feet. We'll step that left leg back this time into Phalakasana plank. Core strength. Dome that upper back, draw that navel in, tailbone under slightly, ignite those quads. Leaving no stone left unturned. We're going to lower the knees. This is your practice. You either can take a wide-legged child's pose, or let's explore knees, chest, and chin. So we're going to gently lead with the chest as we explore knees, chest, and chin, all at the ground at the same time. My hips are lifted. My elbows are close to the sides. This is a great example of spinal mobility. Shoulder blades rooted across that upper back. Good. Toes, knees, chest, hands, chin, the 8-point prostration pose, surrendering. If you want to deepen this pose, you might pick up the feet, interlace those fingers at the base of the spine, extend those arms, all different levels. Your practice. Gently release. Easy cobra, send those legs back, feet width apart. Hands by the lower center ribs. Easy cobra as we roll those shoulders back. Just a light awakening of the lower back and opening of the chest. Feel those inner elbows, inner ankles come towards one another. Inhale, open that chest. Good. With the exhale, come to all fours. Let's take the hands about a palm width in front of the shoulders. Tuck those toes as we transition to Adho Mukha, downward facing dog. Push that floor away. So the spine is lengthening on the inhale as we press into the palms, root a little bit more in the index finger inner edges of the hands. But on the exhale, we're lowering the heels to the ground, so the spine is moving in two different directions as we release those hamstrings. Let's draw the feet together in Adho Mukha, down dog. Release those calves a little bit more in soleus. Good. Connect to that Ujjayi pranayama as you inhale and exhale through the nose. The sound of the ocean. Calming the mind. With the inhale, draw that left leg up to about hip width, toes pointed down. On the transition to low lunge, we'll draw that left knee towards the chest, heel towards the buttocks. Place the left foot next to the left hand. You might adjust that right foot so it's about hip width apart. Lower the top of the right foot. Here we are. We're going to root through the four corners of the left foot as we do a little dynamic here for Anjaneyasana, low lunge. The birds are singing. On that exhale, we're going to sink a little bit lower. Inhale, draw that energy up. If the shoulders are tight, we can keep the arms here, or we'll draw those palms together. Ignite those triceps. Good. Breathe deep. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release the back hip flexors. Good. Leaving no stone left unturned. Easy triangle, hands to the hips. Frame the foot. We're going to draw that back knee under the hip. So back knee under the hip. We're going to tuck the back toes. For some of you, you might utilize a block, an easy triangle. So the left hand, the block would be inside the foot. The left arm joins forces with the left leg. We'll take that right arm, brush the chest. Here we are, shoulder over the shoulder. We're opening the chest. We're moving the body laterally, and it's a light hip opener. Breathe deep. Gently lower. Now we're going to do the exact opposite. So the right arm comes under the shoulder, and the left arm either hand to the hip, or we're going to kind of brush that chest, and we draw that left arm up as we come into that mid-thoracic twist. Come into that runner's pose. Tuck the back toes. Back leg is straight and engaged. As we frame the foot, come back to downward facing dog, and we're going to push that floor away. Let's do a cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Continue to connect with that breath as we inhale, exhale through the nose, that ocean breath. Feet come together in down dog, heels a little closer to the ground. Inhale, draw that right leg up to about hip height, toes pointed down. On the exhale, round that upper back, draw the right knee, the chest and the nose. Place the right foot next to the right hand, maybe adjust that left foot. Hands to those hips, and we're going to rock forward and back. Let's sink a little bit lower in Anjaneyasana now as we press to the top of the back foot, root to the four corners of the front foot. A little scissoring of those hips. If the shoulders are tight, we can keep them here, or draw those palms together. With the inhale, we feel the lengthening. The exhale, the release of the back hip flexors. Good. Preparing for our practice. Hands to those hips. We're going to frame the foot, draw that back knee under the hip, tuck those back toes. Right arm joins forces with that right leg. If we need to use a block to help us as a prop, we can on the inside. Sukha Trikonasana. So take that left arm, brush the chest, draw that left arm up, shoulder over shoulder. Feel the opening of the body, the chest, the hips. And here we are moving the body laterally. Gently now lower that left arm under the shoulder. Take that right arm up as we grow this little mid-thoracic twist. Revolved easy triangle. Gently release, frame the foot, tuck the back toes. Runner's pose. Great job, guys. We're going to firm that back leg, draw that quadricep to the bone. With the exhale, we're going to frame the feet. We're going to come into Adho Mukha, downward facing dog. So we're going to connect with the breath. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, heels a little closer to the ground. This is your practice. You can stay here. We're going to add a vinyasa. Coming into Phalakasana plank, we can modify chaturanga by lowering to the knees. Or we can shift the weight on the balls of the feet, bend those elbows, draw that sternum and chest forward. Try to keep the shoulders in line with those elbows, elbows close to the side in chaturanga. Upward facing dog, press through the feet, tops of the feet. Shimmy that pelvis forward, knees, thighs off the mat, chest past the biceps. Roll those shoulders back. Neck is long, gaze up. Exhale, come over the tops of the feet. Toe mobility. Come into Adho Mukha. Stay here several breaths. Breathe deep. Let go. Gently lower the knees. We're going to come into a kneeling position, which is really good in plantar flexion of the feet. So many good things for the legs. So we're going to sit back on those heels. And for some of you, if this is a little bit of a challenge, you can widen the knees, sit on a block, or you can even just come into a comfortable seated position. We're going to open up the shoulders again, though. We're leaving no stone left unturned here. So we're going to either clasp a strap behind or interlace those fingers. Draw the scapula towards the spine. Broaden those collarbones. Let's connect with that ocean breath. On that inhale, we feel the chest expand. With the exhale, the prana coming back down the spine. Shoulder health. Connection of breath. Gently release. We'll take that left arm up. We're going to do Gomukhasana arms, one arm at a time. Draw that left arm up. We're going to clasp behind that left elbow. Let's walk the fingertips down the spine. Try to get between the scapula, just to you. The back of the head presses against that upper arm. With the inhale, we feel the prana rise, the chest expand, the shoulders open, the triceps release. Gently release. With the inhale, draw that right arm up. Clasp just behind the elbow as we walk those fingertips down the spine, shoulder mobility. Press the back of the head against that upper arm. With the inhale, feel the prana rise, the chest expand. We're just doing one arm at a time. Satira Sukha, steady and at ease. Sometimes it's nice to isolate that one arm and just kind of meet yourself where you are. I like to swim those arms out a bit. We'll take that left arm, now internally rotate as we draw the thumb towards us. Walk those fingertips up the spine here. Try to get between the scapula as we soften the left shoulder. Reading about this pose yesterday, this helps with arthritis in the shoulders, the elbows, and the wrists. So we keep practicing Gomukhasana arms. Gently release. We'll take that right arm, draw the thumb towards us as we walk those fingertips up the spine. And sometimes we notice one side being a little bit tighter than the other. In our own practice, we keep practicing. We breathe deep into the stiffness and the pain. Birds are singing. Gently release. Let's come to all fours. Let's do a little wrist therapy. Let's tuck the toes. Let's take the left hand in extension, the right hand in flexion. Let's rock forward and back. And switch. Right hand is an extension, left hand in flexion. And maybe we rock side to side with those hips. So we're preparing again our wrists for some fun things because we're leaving no stone left unturned. Good, and we'll come back to all fours, palms about a palm width in front of the shoulders. Tuck those toes, send those hips back. Come into Adho Mukha, where we root a little bit more, the index finger, the inner edges of those hands. We firm those thighs. Breathe into any stiffness, any pain. Let's releve up, gaze between those hands. We either can mindfully walk the feet forward or we can ignite those quads, spring forward into this halfway lift. Ardha Uttanasana, shins, thighs at the ground. Exhale, so we're going to fold a little bit deeper. Continue to stack those hips over the knees and the ankles and allow that neck to be long. Gently bend those knees, swan dive up. Exhale, hands by the heart center. Reflecting back on that intention that you showed up. Cleansing breath. Inhale. Exhale, release. Okay, Tippy Tomalasana, toe mobility, bulletproof ankles here. For some of you, you might modify by using the blocks, as a modification if that helps you. And this is the gateway, strong toes to help us with our knees, to help us with our hip mobility, leaving no stone left unturned. The ankles, knees, and shins are going to come together on this. We're going to add some core work as well. Inhale, draw that energy up, that upward salute as we draw the navel in. Tailbone under. Lengthen the sides of the body. Exhale, we're going to swan dive down. Some of you might utilize the blocks if that helps you. We're going to releve up, ankles, knees, and shins together. We're going to lower the glutes towards those heels. This is what we're going to try to, between the pinky toe to the big toe here, toe mobility, ground through those toes. Draw the heels together. Keep them from splaying. The heels are stacked over those toes. And for some of us, we might deepen this by walking those hands back in line with the heels, spinning the thumbs forward, chin to the chest, forehead to the knees, and connect to that Ujjayi pranayama. I also like to connect with that Mula Bandha, that pelvic floor. Squeeze those adductors, those inner thighs together. Stop those heels from splaying. Strengthening every muscle in the lower leg. Strong ankles. Strong toes. Gently lower those heels. No stone left unturned. Here we are. Core strength. We've got the blocks if we have the blocks. If not, we can do it without it. We're going to find the balance in the back of the buttocks as we come into Navasana, the V pose. Draw that navel towards the spine. We can modify with the legs bent, or we can inhale, kick it out. Find that balance. The chest is broad and lifted, igniting the quadriceps, the hip flexors, and the core. Stay here several breaths, leaving no stone left unturned. Energy out the fingers, energy out the toes. The breath is there to balance. Core stability. Navasana drills. Draw that left leg over the right up across, high up by the shins. Draw the knees towards the chest. On the exhale, lift the hips off the ground, shoulders forward. Navasana drills. Here we come. We can modify legs bent. Inhale, kick out. Core strength. Cross the right shin over the left, knees towards the chest. On the exhale, ignite that core, pelvis off the ground, shoulders forward. Talk about core strength. Lower those glutes. Navasana again. Connect with the core. Draw the navel towards the spine. Ignite those quadriceps. Ignite those hip flexors. Energy out the fingers. Energy out the toes. The breath is there for balance. Chest is broad and lifted. Left leg crosses over the right. Draw the knees to the chest. On the exhale, pelvis off the ground, shoulders forward. Good. Let's do it. Again, Navasana drills. Draw that navel in. Kick out. Cross the right over the left. Pelvis off the ground. And try to sweep those legs underneath. Leaving no stone left unturned. Lolasana prep. If you've got the blocks, it helps. You can do it without the blocks. So the hands are shoulder width apart. We're gonna on the exhale, press down. We're gonna draw the knees to the chest and round the spine. We're igniting the triceps, the pecs, the serratus. This is core strength and upper body. This is the most underrated core exercise in Yoga Journal. On that exhale, press down, draw the knees towards the chest and round. Forehead to the knees. Let's continue that dance. On the exhale, round. Inhale, release. Exhale, round. Good. Continue this dynamic movement as we draw the knees to the chest. Igniting the arms round the knees to the chest. Let's go 5 more. Exhale, round, forehead to the knees, knees to the chest, chin to the chest. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. And lower. All of these challenging yoga postures to help us build upon core agility, to build strength. Let's take those blocks now. We're going to come into down dog. So again, the palms are about a palm width in front of the shoulders. Let's tuck those toes. I like to take the heel of the hand on the blocks if I have them. Here we are, Adho Mukha, downward facing dog. The block helps give us a little lift. Warrior 1 on the left side. We're going to draw the left knee towards the chest or the nose. Place the left foot next to the left hand. Knee stacks over the ankle. We're going to angle that back foot at 45 or 60 degrees. We're about 1 leg length too. Either heel to heel or heel to arch. Or we can widen that right foot a little more laterally. And why we do that is we want to, as we transition hands to those hips, we want both hips facing forward. Right big toe towards the right front corner of the mat. So we're going to press that right shin back, ground through the heel. Draw that navel in. Inhale, draw those arms up. Continue to sink a little bit lower, knee stacks over that ankle. Front hip back, back hip forward. Feel the release of the back hip flexors. If the shoulders are tight, we can stay right here, or we can draw those palms together, ignite those triceps, active elbows, the gaze is up. Virabhadrasana 1. Humble warrior. Now we interlace those fingers at the base of the spine, or we can use a strap if we need to. Draw the scapula towards the spine. Open the chest. Open the heart. On the exhale, we draw the navel in. Humbly, humble warrior. Baddha Virabhadrasana. Draw that left shoulder inside that knee. Continue to draw those arms over the head. Or we can come a little bit deeper and draw the third eye towards the left big toe. Breathe deep. Inhale and rise. Humble warrior prep. Back to warrior 1. Sink a little bit lower. Build strength. Front leg parallel to the ground. Transition to Adho Mukha, downward facing dog. Push that floor away. We can stay here in down dog. We can add a vinyasa, high plank. Shift on the balls of the toes, bend those elbows, or we can modify by lowering the knees, partial chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Feet hip width apart. Shimmy that pelvis forward. Roll the shoulders back. The neck is long, the gaze is up. Exhale, come over the tops of the feet. Downward facing dog. Push that floor away. Breathe deep. Expression is the opposite of depression with our breath. Warrior 1 on the right side. Draw the right knee towards the chest and the nose. We're about one leg length, either heel to arch, or widen. Make it a little more wider and lateral of that left foot. Inhale, draw those hands to those hips. Left big toe towards the left front corner of the mat. Anchor that back leg. Press that left shin back. Ground through the heel, outer edge of the foot. Right knee stacks over the ankle. Draw that navel in. Inhale, draw those arms up. Try to have active, long, engaged arms. Ignite those triceps. Maybe draw those palms together. Gaze up. With the inhale, lengthen, but the exhale, the release of the back hip flexors, the steering wheel of the body. The pelvic hip girdle. Baddha Virabhadrasana, humble warrior. Interlace those fingers at the base of the spine. Open the chest, broaden the collarbones. Draw that navel in. On the exhale, we're folding forward. Right shoulder inside the knee. Continue to draw those arms over the head. Or maybe the third eye towards the big toe. Inhale and rise. Virabhadrasana 1, draw those arms back up. Transition to down dog. We can hang out here in down dog. We can add transition, Phalakasana plank. We can modify chaturanga, lower the knees, or shift the weight on the balls of the feet, bend those elbows. Shoulders in line with those elbows. Inhale, press to the tops of the feet. Upward facing dog. Roll the shoulders back. Think of the scapula coming towards the spine here, the tips of the lower shoulders towards the spine. Exhale, come over the tops of the feet, downward facing dog. With that exhale, sink a little bit lower. Heels closer to the ground. On the transition, we kind of releve up. We either can mindfully walk the feet forward or bend those knees, ignite those quads. So spring forward, come into that halfway lift, meet yourself where you are. Exhale, fold deep. Gently bend those knees, swan dive up. Exhale, draw the prana back to the heart. Tadasana, cleansing breath. Inhale. Exhale, release. Okay, coming to the wall, students. Here we are, we're gonna explore these standing postures, but we have the wall there for support. So we'll come into Utthita Tadasana, which means extended mountain. We'll start with the right foot against the wall for support. This is a few inches shorter than a full leg length. So a little bit shorter than the Warrior One stance. For some of you, we'll take the block, a little bit higher. We have to meet ourselves where we are. We might even stack the blocks. Left foot is pointed straight ahead. It intersects probably heel to heel, maybe heel to arch. That left kneecap is pointed straight ahead. The wall is there for support as we press against the wall, awaken the arch. The left foot pointed straight ahead. We're going to move the spine laterally as we open up hips, hamstrings, chest, and shoulders. External rotation here of the hips. Inhale, create length. On the exhale, we're going to sink lower. That left hip is coming kind of towards us. We're going to stop by the shin, or we come to the block, which is outside the foot there. And if we can, draw that right arm up, shoulder over the shoulder. On the exhale, let's deepen this. Top ribs back, bottom ribs forward and under. If the neck doesn't bother you, we're going to gaze up. If it bothers you, you may gaze off to the side or the ground. Continue to expand across the chest on the inhale. On the exhale, draw the bottom ribs forward and under. Inhale and rise, leaving no stone left unturned. Make your way to Tadasana. Cleansing breath. Inhale. Exhale. Here we are, moving the body laterally in the triangle pose. So the left foot presses against the wall, intersects, it's a few inches shorter than one leg length. Right heel to heel's a little easier, or heel to arch. We've got the block, we're either going to place it up high, middle, or even lower. Right outside, kind of more the upper foot. Good. That right kneecap is pointed straight ahead. The right inner thigh is spiraling from the inside out. The wall is here for support. Inhale, create length. Exhale, sink a little bit lower as we lower to the shin. Little by little to the block. Come a little bit more to the midfoot of that right foot. Shoulder over the shoulder. If the neck bothers you, and gaze off to the ground or the side. Eventually gaze up. Top ribs back. Bottom ribs forward and under. Opening the hips and hamstrings. Connection to breath. And moving the spine laterally. Inhale and rise. Make your way back to Tadasana. Cleansing breath. Inhale. Exhale. Leaving no stone left unturned. This is kind of fun. Bakasana, crow pose. For some of you, we'll use the block and we'll place it kind of on that third eye. Let's journey to crow. We don't necessarily have to do crow, but we can journey to that. With that, I like to kind of start with my ankles, knees, and shins together. With the inhale, let's draw those arms up. draw length in the sides of the body. On that exhale, we're going to swan dive down. We've got the hands under the shoulders. This is where we're kind of relevating up. We're going to start a little squat here. You're going to open those knees. This is where we're going to bend those arms and place the knees here up top here on the upper thighs, on the upper triceps. And you either can one foot at a time find this balance, or place the third eye on the block. This is where we're going to connect to the core, to lift those hips, draw the heels towards the buttocks, maybe big toes kissing. Try to keep those elbows from winging out. Core strength, upper body strength, a little rounding of that upper back. Igniting again the serratus, the scapula stabilizers, the upper back. Good. One foot at a time. The journey more important than the end. For some of us, we just go 1 foot at a time. For some of us, we don't even pick up the feet. We journey. We're going to swan dive up. Tadasana. Cleansing breath. Inhale. Exhale. Many of my students really have fun with the Bakasana crow. So it's part of our leave no stone left unturned journey. Parvita Trikonasana, the revolved triangle. Right foot against the wall. Left foot, again, a few inches shorter than one leg length. This is the exact opposite of extended triangle because we internally rotate that leg. For many of us, we're going to place the block, and some of us might even have stacked 2 blocks, if that helps us, right near the upper foot on the inside. The more advanced is to take the block on the outside. So we're going to listen to our practice. Ground through the heel. It's either heel to arch, or maybe a little wider lateral stance again. Right big toe towards the right front corner of the mat. Draw the navel in. Left hand on the hip. That right arm comes up. So it's the opposite arm that's coming up. Inhale, create length. Exhale, folding forward. Either maybe to the shin or the higher block. Little by little, we draw that left hip back, that right hip forward. We want to grow the twist in the mid-thoracic. When we have stability, we can keep the left hand on the hip the entire time for stability. Once we have stability, we may draw that left arm up. Let's grow that mid-thoracic twist. If the neck doesn't bother you, you might gaze up and feel that twist in the upper and middle back. These standing postures are so valuable. With the exhale, deepen that twist. Left hand on that hip, gaze at that left big toe. Inhale and rise. Balance, strength, pelvic hip girdle health, Tadasana. Cleansing breath. Inhale. Exhale, release. Revolve triangle on the other side. So it's really about our foundation too. Left heel against the wall, 45 or 60 degrees. Left big toe towards the left front corner. The leg is a few inches shorter than one leg length. Heel to arch, maybe widen that left foot. Either block on the inside of the foot, or we can stack, or outside of that foot. Good. Leaving no stone left unturned. Right hand on the hip, draw that navel in. Inhale, create length into the left arm up, the opposite arm. Exhale, we're folding forward, either to the shin or the block. The right hip comes back, that left hip comes forward, an internal rotation of that left leg. Little by little, once we have stability, we might draw that right arm up. On the exhale, deepen that mid-thoracic twist. Breathe deep. Right hand on the hip, gaze at that left big toe. Inhale, root, and rise. Tadasana, cleansing breath. Inhale, exhale, release. Bakasana, crow pose. Let's have fun, everybody. Okay, some of you are going to use that block under that third eye. Let's draw the feet together. Inhale, draw that prana up. Lift up out of the sides of the body. On the exhale, we're going to swan dive down, hands under the shoulders. Kind of right away, ignite, protract those shoulders. We're going to start to bend and kind of open those knees as we place the knees up high on those triceps. Ignite, connect with the core to lift those hips. It's okay to bend those elbows here. Draw the heels to the buttocks, big toes kissing. Try to keep those elbows from flaring to the side. Core strength, upper body strength. I like to press into my finger pads, which become like talons, as I am a crow. Great job. Strength, body intelligence. Gently lower. Swan dive up. Hands heart centered. This is another fun one, guys. I've been loving this. This has been fun to practice. Okay, prayer squat malasana, the everything pose. Ankle mobility, opening up the hips, the hamstrings, the inner groin. The feet are about 45 degrees. Heels in and knee tracks over the toes. This is kind of the foundation for mobility. For some of you, you might utilize the block under the sitting bones. So feet an inch wider than hip width apart, heels in, toes out, 45 degrees. Pada Bandha, awaken the arch, ground through those toes. Draw that navel in. Inhale, create length. Exhale, fold a bit deeper. Good. We're going to sit on those sitting bones. I'm going to take the strap off to the side. Some of you might utilize a strap for this. My husband did, actually. Prayer squat. And for some of us, we may even releve, pick up those heels. We have to meet ourselves where we are. But little by little, the elbows inside those knees create length in the spine. Sit bones towards the ground. With the inhale, feel the chest rise, the prana expand. The elbows inside those knees. Opening those hips, lengthening the spine, leaving no stone left unturned. Now we're going to transition to twisted lizard. Some of you might utilize the blocks to help you under the shoulders. So we're going to step that right leg back for the lizard pose. Some of you are going to utilize those blocks. Hands under the shoulders or hands on the blocks. Left knee tracking over those toes. Now we're going to lower the back knee, maybe the top of the foot towards the ground. Some of you are going to come on to, my husband used the block to come to the twisted lizard to rest his forearm. So you're going to use the blocks to do that. Rest the forearm. Take that left arm back. Little by little, we clasp the toes here. Draw the heel towards the buttocks. So now we're opening that left external rotators, releasing the back hip flexors, opening the chest and adding a twist. Maybe even the gaze towards that left shoulder. It depends how you're feeling in the neck. Let's breathe deep. Left hip opening. Feel the outer glute and the right hip flexors releasing. Gently release. Hands under the shoulders for many of us. We're going to use blocks to help us transition, draw that navel in, and step that right foot. And some of us come back to the prayer squat. We got to meet ourselves where we are. This is our practice. Elbows inside the knees. Draw a length here. Sit bones coming towards the ground as we create length in the spine. Hands under the shoulders, or for some of us, we're going to use the blocks. As we step that left foot back, the knee still tracks over those toes. As we come into this lizard pose. And my husband actually used a strap to help connect to that back leg when we're going to add this variation. Lower the back knee, top of the foot towards the ground. Continue to feel that opening of that right hip. You kind of feel that right knee lowering. This is where we can use the blocks for some of us as we come onto that forearm to the ground, clasping that right ankle. And then we might even take a strap and help us clasp the back foot, meet ourselves where we are. So we feel that right hip opening, the left back hip flexor releasing. Stay here several breaths. Gently release. Hands under the shoulders, tuck the back toes. For some of us, we might utilize the blocks here and even pick up the hips a little bit. If that helps us connect to the core, come back into this prayer squat. Some of us might, again, utilize the block. This is our practice under the sitting bones. All of us, let's try to take that other block here. And I want us to kind of hold onto the block here, elbows inside the knees as we create length in the spine. With this, we're going to come into some overhead mobility. Let's draw the arms over the head, draw the navel in, root with the feet, both feet. Inhale, if we can, root and rise, something to practice wherever you are, something to practice. Coming to the wall here, we're going to come into some standing drop backs. So a lot of us, one of the big reasons people show up to yoga is they want to take their spine and come into extension. We can start a soft arm distance. We can build confidence against that wall, okay? Pushing against the wall to open the chest and the heart. Let's start with the feet, maybe hip width apart, maybe a little wider. I'm like mat width apart. I rotate the big toes in slightly to take the femur heads and add a little internal rotation and take those inner thighs, spiral them back as I build upon that foundation. Draw that navel in, tailbone under. Inhale, draw those arms up. The gaze is up, and it's a even arch here. The gaze is up. We begin to kind of draw those fingertips back, lead with the upper and middle back as we come into that even arch, push against the wall, open the chest, and the heart will stay here several breaths, and come back up, neck and head last. In time, you might move a little bit more farther up and build upon that confidence. We'll do several more. Foundations, ground through those heels. Inner thighs spiral back. Draw that navel in. Gazes up. On that exhale, come back, push against the wall. Walk those hands down. Open the chest and the heart. Inhale, rise. Neck and head last. 2 more. Foundation, ground through those heels. Rotate the big toes in slightly. Lead the way. Lead with the upper and middle back even arch. Walk those hands down. Push against the wall. Open the chest and heart. Come back up. Let's do one more. So good to keep those hips pressing forward and move that spine in extension. Walk those hands back up, neck and head last. Beautiful. Neutralizing the spine. Draw, let's come to Tadasana. Every person's a little bit different with the feet. Draw that navel and tailbone under. Let's neutralize the spine by inhale, draw those arms up. Draw length in the sides of the body. Gaze up. Hands by the heart. One of my favorite ways to neutralize the spine. Just take the feet about hip width apart, straight ahead. Draw that navel in, tailbone under. Draw those arms forward. I want you to interlace those fingers. Now we're going to take the back of the spine. We're going to do the exact opposite of the back bends. And we're pushing it outward. Pushing it outward. Feel the shoulder blades move away from the spine. Chin to the chest. We'll stay here several breaths. Gently release. One good thing to do after those back bends against the wall is a forward fold along the wall. So the wall is there for support. Let's take the feet, Uttanasana, on the wall. Let's take the feet about hip width apart, pointed straight ahead. We'll gently bend the legs. Let's come into it to the left. We'll come out to the right. Gently bend those legs. Come into Uttanasana on the left. The wall is there for support. We might adjust ourselves. The wall is there for support for the spine, and allow, if we need to bend those legs and modify, we can. The wall is there for support. I like to kind of the spine and press the back of the head also against that wall to create a little bit of length in the cervical vertebrae. We'll stay here several breaths. With the exhale, come a little bit deeper. Feel the release of the hamstrings and the lower back. We'll stay here several breaths. My students love this pose after we do our drop backs in person and in class. And many of the ancient yogis love this combination of the forward fold on the wall. Connect with that Ujjayi breath. Coming out of this pose to the right. Come back up. Kind of recenter yourself. We're going to test overhead. We're going to finish with legs up the wall. But for some of us, maybe we'll do one more kind of overhead mobility because we're leaving no stone left unturned. So we may have the block there for some of us, so we want to utilize for that prayer squat. Feet an inch wider than hip width apart, heels in, knee tracking over those toes. Or we can just find our way to legs up the wall. We're going to do you. Draw those arms up, draw that navel in. On that exhale, we're going to sink a little bit lower. Just kind of one last way to kind of open the hips, neutralize the spine. I like to get my pinky kind of towards the wall, elbows towards the spine, hands by that heart. Connect with that breath. With the inhale, feel the prana rise, the chest expand. With the exhale, sit bones towards the ground, prana coming back down the spine. And gently lower. Making our way towards Viparita Karani along the wall. So here we're entering from the side. It's all about rest and regeneration. We have to come off the wall a little bit we can, trying to kind of ground the heels, awaken the arches. The spine is long, the shoulders are grounded. And we're going to stay here for however long that you need. I would suggest 3 to 5 minutes. Recirculation, regeneration, nourishing your light. This was a unique flow today, leaving no stone left unturned. Let's nourish our spirit, nourish our light, and stay here as long as we need.